Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Sulaiman Rahim, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the 7 seals. Brothers and sisters, the day of the Lord. Pardon me, brothers and sisters, but for the last couple of days, I've had to revamp my system, get a new laptop, so forth, so on. Ongoing battle. So I got a whole new system here. Working out the bugs. I'm actually going live on 2 channels. Test to see which one comes out the best sound and everything. So bear with me, brothers and sisters. It's not about the entertainment. It's about the truth. And we're getting very little to no truth. We're getting very little to no truth these days. And we haven't received any truth since we've been here. Excuse me, let me correct this. Absolute technical bugs here, brothers, so bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, I think that'll do it. Yeah, we have a couple of technical bugs as we go along. Working them out, like I said, a whole new system here. Had to get a new laptop and so forth, and get one repaired, and just challenging. Let me say something about that. You know, brothers and sisters, there's 2 things about life that makes life interesting, right? Because you can go through life just wandering around, walking around circles. Or you can go through life with a mission. Okay? A mission. Some people have a mission. So, okay, I like you do this, I like you do that, right? But that's not the same thing as having an objective. Same thing, because the mission, okay, just go here, go there, right? Go to the store. Right? But objective is like, you have a purpose. See, you have a purpose in life. So you want to achieve this, you want to achieve that. See, mission like, okay, I want to go to New York. Yeah, that's a mission in basic terms. See, objective is, I want to be the mayor of New York, right? I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to accomplish this, accomplish that. And most people go through life, some not even having a mission, just going through, doing day by day, this and that, But then they get a mission, like going in the military, they give you missions, right? Also do this, do that, missions. But to get a purpose, that's not giving life meaning. A purpose. And we as a nation had a purpose, we weren't aware of it, was to go to the Holocaust and to come out the other end, get the best part of planet Earth and rule. That was our objective, that was our purpose, but that knowledge of the purpose was taken away from us. That was the purpose of the nation. See? That was a divine purpose, a meaningful purpose, powerful purpose, because it required great sacrifice and human sacrifice, above anything you can think of. That was our purpose, and we have achieved much of it. To discernment, to the dismay of our enemies, but most of us don't realize that, and we're going to be lost because of lack of knowledge. But if you're given a mission and a purpose, and given the tools to accomplish that purpose, That's a meaningful thing, brother and sister. I mean, we all will have that when we get home, but in this society, that's very rare. Nobody just wander around, copying other people. You see people set styles, and everybody's following, like people wearing baseball cap back. They don't know what they're doing because everybody's doing it. So there's no purpose, no mission to it. It's stupid, but that's what they do it. What I'm trying to say here, brothers and sisters, that most people don't understand. Like I said, when we go out, we leave out here, we leave out with great wealth. Now, how can we leave out with great wealth if we don't have great wealth? It didn't say we'll get wealth after we got out of here. It said we go out with great wealth. That means we have it now. You just don't realize it. Because they're going 24/7 to keep you from understanding who you are and what you have, because they're controlling your wealth. I keep explaining to you, they're controlling your wealth. They control the quality, right, of your energy, of your blessings. It's like you know, if you were into praying, right, and say you pray for $1,000, $10,000, right? But $10,000 got to come through your boss's hands. So you got to decide how you're going to give you that $10,000. We're going to give you a $10,000 car, $10,000 part. He's going to decide what you do with that $10,000. See, that wasn't what you was planning, but that's what happened. And that's what's happening right now, brothers and sisters, because you're being blessed with great wealth right now. But the master is controlling it. He's controlling the ways you don't understand. Like Farrakhan, he's part of that deal. That's why I don't want you to get out of here. Then you realize your wealth and your power once you're out of here. Because once you're not working a job anymore, the money comes direct to you, then you understand how much money you're getting. Because you don't know how much your boss will say, hey man, I got some money for you. You don't know how much he got. Right? It's your money, but he's controlling it. The devil's been controlling our energy since we've been here. So now we're wealthy, but you don't realize your wealth. You will not realize till you get out of here. And why is Farrakhan, all these other clowns, so busy trying to tell you you're not going anywhere? And when they openly read the covenant, the contract, and don't read the part, they read the part of suffering, and the contract is a give and take. Somebody gives something, somebody takes something. You give this, you get something in return. That's what contracts work. But he'll tell you about the part where you're giving, where you suffered. And then he'll tell you where you suffered because you were so sinful. That's not what the contract says. He doesn't read the part. It's right there in the next sentence where we go home, return. Why does he leave that part? He's supposed to be a man of God. What God we talked about? But he leaves that part out. And it's right there. Where you going? He says, Abraham the covenant. 40 years you've been enslaved and oppressed in land that's not yours, but he says land is ours. It says right there it's not. It says you were sojourn, that means temporary. But he says we ain't going nowhere. And he's reading it. So you have to ask yourself, if the people with him, they can't read, or they're totally stupid, or they're agents, or they're demons, or what's their issue? Because if they read that, they see he's not reading what it says there. He's going contrary to everything it says, and contrary to everything that Elijah Muhammad taught him. What Elijah Muhammad tried to teach him. So to be given a purpose, bro, says that's what life is. A purpose. Without purpose, there's really no life there. You're just existing. And there's some people who have been given a mission and a purpose. And admonition. More than any prophet or messenger in history. You got 2 prophets on the scene. They give them all that, and plus direct teaching from the 25th scientist himself. That is awesome. That is more than awesome. People don't understand the gifts they've been given, so tend to be ungrateful because they don't understand the nature of the gift they've been given. Because To do that, that means somebody 16,000 years ago knew them personally, and made sure they had those gifts. Was the greatest gift you can give anybody. Mission, a purpose, right? The tools, the ammunition, to accomplish that, right? And to be given, taught, right? Being taught, given superior knowledge, supreme knowledge, directly, face to face. That's precious. There's no amount of gold or silver that could match that. I had a mission. I had somewhat of a purpose in my life, but it wasn't pretty clearly defined until I ran across the angel. Boy, that was a shock. Then the purpose much bigger than I ever thought. When I think about it, I say, man, that kind of purpose. You got two prophets being given a purpose more than any in history. And the greatest purpose ever. Almost equivalent to the purpose of the first God. Because they're on the other side of the creation, they're part of the process of bringing a new creation. It was just one being in the beginning. Now, it's the God. It's the Son of Man, High Priest. It's two prophets. It's the angels. And plus, the prophets got two prophetess to support them. Anybody understand that? Anybody, a wise person would kill to be in that position. All the prophets in the past looked ahead and wished that they could be here to see this day. Because they never see anything like it. They never see anything like it. They said, no, it's only one prophet at a time. You got two prophets. You got the God. You got the Son of Man, the High Priest. And you got the angels. And then you got the ammunition that you have. The tools, the weapons. You never see anything like it. You never see anything like it. The maker, they said, it was wondrous in our sight. Elijah and Muhammad said they used to pray where they would be here to witness this themselves. Because it's beautiful on paper, but to actually be here to see it in action, to understand it. Because I'm trying to make you understand what's going on, brothers, and some of you still don't get it, but eventually you will. So I'm going to talk about a few concepts. They try to get you, on board. See? So first I want to talk about the sisters for a minute. See, well, let me just make a stay away on the same subject. The Sunnis, in the Quran says that a man is 1 degree above a woman. Now, their understanding of that is totally incorrect. But if we go to understand it, think about it. See, we need thinkers. Think about it. Okay. How many degrees are there in a circle? 360. So, if a man is 1 degree above a woman, that means divide 360 and a half, that's 180, right? So he'd obviously have 181 and she'd have 179. But still, that means there's 179 degrees that he don't have. So how does that give that 1 degree him the right to oppress her, tell her what she should do, how she should dress and everything? How that 1 degree, if I got $181 and you got $179, and I'm saying I got $1 more than you, so I'm going to tell you what to do? I'm going to control you because I got $1 more than you? You understand what I'm saying? Makes no sense. That's why that's the wrong interpretation. Really, the interpretation here is just to tell, like it says, no one understands these books, but Allah knows firmly rooted in knowledge. Because understanding is that the Quran was revealed, right? Just a slightly degree off from perfection. See, you don't see it that way. Slight degree off from perfection, because perfection is 180 degrees for the male, 180 degrees for the female, because the original being was both. See, they got all kinds of explanations. Well, he came and then he pulled a woman out of stuff, all this stuff. Well, tell me how he did that, and tell me what his physiology was. If there was no woman, what was his physiology before he somehow miraculously pulled his woman out of himself? What is the physiology? He has the physiology of a man. Why do men have breasts? They don't need them. So you can't answer these questions. The fact that men have hair is really a female thing. I don't go into detail about it, but I'm going to say this much. When I say everything that you see out there came out of us. There was just that one being. The Quran tells you that. The birds, the tree, everything came out of us. The devils, everything came out of us. But there was a time before you had trees and all that kind of stuff, right? So the only material that you had to make clothing for yourself was your hair. Did that tell you all you need? Cut your hair. That's where you weave that, and how you made your clothing for yourself. Okay. That one being, that's what he did. But now he's separated, just like we have breasts, don't use them anymore. We have hair, but not like they have it, like the females have it. But some of us, I don't know. Just a little pointer. So, but let me move on. I just want to point that out, right? But the original being had 360 degrees of wisdom, because he had both. It was just one being. He had 360 degrees. But when he divided into two parts, 180 degrees perspective and another 180 degrees perspective, because the males don't have the same perspective as the female have. The female doesn't have the same perspective as the male, but together they form the full perspective. But because of the inequality that Suleiman is correcting, only the male perspective prevailed. That's why you got all this confusion, a lot in the world, everything else, because you don't have the balance. The males want to tell everybody what to do, and then they want to ignore the female aspect of it. Even though the females may be more deadly than the males, because that's what you see in the animal kingdom. Right? The females, that right? That's the gangster. See? You used to make a movie a long time ago. Be deadlier than the male, because the females can be more deadly than you. But see, the thing is, you use your strength, but they use their cunning, which makes them wiser than you, and you don't realize it. A lot of them don't let you know how wise they are. So, and they're smart, because once you see they smarter than you, now so you want to knock the teeth out. You want to get brain damage. Some of you think that way. See. But we're going to correct all of that. So then we had, because I know it's difficult, as a male, I know it's difficult, especially in hard times. Because you focus, and you don't listen to any other advice because you just go out and do your thing. That's probably why children are messed up now, because they don't think they know everything. But the point is that you're not getting a balanced view of the universe. You're not getting it. I know you don't like the females, and I don't like the females' perspective either. In a lot of cases, not nowadays, because they've corrupted the females so much that right, they're working against themselves and don't realize it. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. So it's hard to listen. But the point is, that holds true for the male also. I don't know. I hardly want to listen to anybody. Not just females. Because everybody's perspective on this, especially once you got into the angel, understand the angel. Because the first time I heard anything that made any sense was with Elijah Muhammad. My whole life, I heard nothing made any sense until I met that man, and then all of a sudden, heavens open up, angels start descending. Literally. You have to understand that, brothers and sisters. But as long as you're in the heart zone, you ain't gonna never get it. Because that emotional factor keeps coming up. And emotional, you combine motion with strength. You got an animal. That's why most of you act like animals. You combine emotion with strength, and you get animal, beast. Because that's where the devils are. See, they're mostly on the heart zone. 90%, because their mind's not strong enough to control the heart. That's what you see what's going on in the world today, right? That's one of the problems. See, because they're being crushed, because their minds are not strong enough to control the hearts, the emotions, and it's getting worse and worse every day. That's unrighteousness. And so therefore that's what we're talking about there. And so you see they get more and more emotional. They're doing things that don't make any sense. But the emotional mind, nothing has to make sense. It just has to feel good. What drives the emotional mind is feelings. If it feels good, then it's okay. If it doesn't feel good, that's why they go to drugs. I mean, you can put this stuff together, but it's easy to see it. That's why you see what's going on out there now. Drug abuse, right? They're all confused about their emotions, their physiology, right? Their sensuality. So now you got transgenderism, gender confusion, all that stuff because their mind, they don't have the discipline. That's what discipline is, when your mind has control over your heart. That's discipline. And they don't have it. They lost it. There's nothing they could do about it because they was only designed to last. They came in with expiration date. They could only handle so much pressure. So now the pressure is overwhelming. So now they're totally in the heart zone, which is very dangerous because now you're around beasts. It's like you have a lot of dogs. You have a lot of dogs around you. Not that, right? And they're all wild animals. But as long as you feed them, they're fine. They happy, wagging their tail. But let them go hungry. What will happen? You'll be eaten. Just like that. There was a story about 10, 15 years ago. This woman, she had a whole house full of cats. They said like 30, 40 cats in there. And she messed around and got sick, couldn't get out of bed for a week. They came in, her cats ate her up. There was even on her way, came in there. Cats. Should I spell everything out for you, brothers and sisters? Some things that's kind of like, because I got very careful what I say because I'm talking to you, I'm talking to too. So let's get into the main, like I said what I had to say about the females. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. But when we get home, that situation is going to be corrected. I'm on my way to make sure you understand it. Because I don't want you to trip up and mess around and lose your position on this side and never get to the other side because you're abusing our sisters out of ignorance. Some of you doing it intentionally. Like Farrakhan. Hook to, what's he doing? What's that for? Messi wasn't doing stuff like that. Hook to, he was teaching how to take care of their family and stuff. Not to go out and kick somebody's ass. Whose ass they want to kick? What's all that about? Little segue, Elijah Muhammad went to prison, jail, everything, to protect you from what he saw was coming. Because you know there's going to be this great war. They're going to want to draft you into this war, throw you into the river. Those you talking about. And so because of the case with Muhammad Ali, you was exempt. If you was a Muslim nation of Islam, you was exempt. Just like the Mormons and the Jehovah's, you was exempt from being called to any kind of, in their wars, whatever. Until Farrakhan came along. Oh no, we'll fight for America and everything else. He got a lot of followers. So because he did that, you're not exempt anymore. Because some you go in and everything else, and they can say, oh well, there's not a real exemption. Like half the Mormons say, oh, we want to start going to war. And all of a sudden it's not exemption anymore. See? You don't understand what he's doing to you. But he is screwing you royally. And some of you like it. I know all his tricks. Well, you got to look at this analogy of putting that frog in the water and slowly turn up the heat. So he learned from Wallace. Wallace threw the frog right into hot water, the frog jumped out. See, Farrakhan is slow. So now he got you in Scientology, he got you sleep worshiping with these Sunnis, and just watch these Sunnis. When they come over here, they don't have anything to do with you. I see them all the time. They were white Christians. They buy more of their house, they eat women, everything else. They'd rather be with them than to be with you. Period. And you know it's true. But you're doing your 5 prayers and all that's with them. And they wish the hell you wouldn't. They laugh at you. They laugh at you. They don't respect you. They tell you in Exodus that you'll be a laughing stock. So if they're laughing in front of your family, they're laughing behind your back. It says, Scripture, Farrakhan made you a laughing stock. You bunch of clowns over there. Nobody's take you serious. Farrakhan's made you a laughing stock. When you was feared and respected, now he's made you a laughing stock. Everybody laughing. Look at them fools over there. Because everything he says is stupid. Nothing he says makes any sense. So they say, well, damn, those people believe that dumb shit. He made you fools out of you. That's why I don't waste time arguing with you, all that kind of stuff, because it's just waste time. Because you're over there, you're either a demon, an agent, a viper, or just told, stone cold idiot. Got scissors, hook, 2, 3, 4. So they can draft their ass now. Some of them will be out there. Anyway, brothers and sisters, the day of the Lord. So I'm just going to talk through things. Like I said, I haven't really set up because I've been all day just trying to push together. So I said I wanted to say something today. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to talk about a few things. Right? I said what I want to say about the females. I could say a lot more. I made a couple of notes here. Let me see if I can follow them. Okay. Let's deal with one. Truth. What is truth? You're going to see. Some of you are going to catch up with me in a few minutes. Some of you are going to catch up with me in a few minutes. Because many things I tell you, brothers and sisters, it's just like, someone sends you to the store, you learn to add and subtract, right? And they send you to the store with some money and tell you to buy certain things which you can buy with the money. But they don't expect to be standing with a calculator telling you how to calculate everything, because now you got it, now you're supposed to figure it out. You know how to add, subtract now, multiply. So some things I say, right, you should be able to just put 2 and 2 together. Because that's the way it's going to be taught here. Nobody's going to talk to you. You see, all the scriptures, They don't come out, very seldom come out and direct say, hey, 1 plus 3 is 5. I mean, or 1 plus 3 is 4. They'll say 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 8 divided by 2 or something. I mean, and then you have to figure, but the thing is, if I say to you that the pressure is our reality, it's all mathematics, and I say mass times acceleration equals 4, the consequences of fundamental principle, every action has an opposite but equal reaction. Some people want to say opposite reaction. That's not the same thing. You got to say it right, don't say it all. Because when you do mathematics, you got to say it right. You got to say, 5 plus 3, I think is 7. No. And you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't want to go to the store and that guy tell me, I think I gave you the right change either. Though some of us used to go to that. So I tell you, every consequence is fundamental principle. Then you should be able to figure out, hey, we talking about pressure there. But I wouldn't told you that's where there's pressure. And I say, thought is pressure. Everything is pressure, right? Then thought is pressure. Some of these things just fall out once you study them. That's why when I go to the scripture, I point out things people never saw before. I say, did you read it carefully? Did you put 2 and 2 together and see how can you get this result? So, that's a consequence of the most fundamental point, right? It's the most fundamental consequence of the 5 pillars. Everything is pressure. There's obvious truth must be pressure. Truth is pressure against high pressure against low pressure. Because that's why they say truth. Now, why just speaking the truth would stop falling? Why just talking it would do it? Why would truth knock out falsehood? I mean, it's like, was he standing with a bat? And, how's it happening? See? That's why you get these people telling this spooky stuff. They're trying to explain it. How does it happen? How can truth prevail against falsehood? Why? Who knows the truth or not? Why wouldn't it prevail against the other? Why does one person come with the truth, right, and prevail over a whole nation, a whole empire? Because that's what truth is, pressure. And falsehood is lower pressure. And greater pressure always destroys lower pressure, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no exceptions to that rule. That's what truth is. High pressure versus low pressure. So when you think of it like, when you understand that, then the point is, how powerful, how much pressure do you have? How much, another way of putting it is, right, there's pressure. How much pressure, how great the pressure of your thoughts? See? Because if it is, that means you're dispelling other people's thoughts that has weaker thoughts than yours. If your thoughts is greater, you destroy a whole empire. If everybody in his thoughts is less than yours, you destroy a whole empire. It has to happen. That's mathematics. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That's what happens every time. They said Muhammad, he couldn't even read or write. They said, and they gave him a weapon. He went to work with it, and he brought down empires and lift up an empire. I try to get you to understand, brothers and sisters. The angel is pressure. It's like a pressure in a balloon. It's locked in a balloon. When you bust the balloon, the pressure comes out. That's what it is. It's words. Words is like inert pressure. It's like, right? Like stored up. Then somebody got to release it. They release it, boom, all that pressure is like after atomic bombs, I call them. It don't matter whether you're right there or a mile away. It's going to affect you. It depends on how you're going to be affected by it. because the pressure's in the atmosphere now. That's no story. No, I don't want to get too deep in this, brothers and sisters. But the angel is an atomic bomb arsenal. And if you don't know how to ignite atomic bomb, so to speak, right, or pull a trigger on a gun, what good is it? Say you got an atomic bomb, but you want to ignite it. What you going to do, throw the bomb at somebody? It ain't going to blow it. I mean, you might hit him, might knock him down and crush him if it's heavy enough. That's what happens. If you got an angel and you just reciting it, throwing it around, teaching what other people were saying, what other people was mimicking what other people were saying, you ain't doing anything. You have to have those nuclear codes, like they say, right? Going in, really ignite that bomb. When you ignite them, because I keep telling you, you see, America is getting in every aspect is crushed. But you ask yourself, what's causing it? If you see the trees blowing and the wind, trees and weeds blowing off, you say, well, what's causing it? You know, it's the wind doing it. You can't see the wind, but you see the effects of it. So something that's against America, remember, something that's against America is causing this because it can't be for America or it wouldn't be adverse. It would be better climate, better food, no inflation, no war, anything. There's a force against America that's causing all this trouble. Where's that force? It ain't Farrakhan. I know I'm way ahead of you, brothers and sisters, because like I said, I'm looking back at you. My mind's in the future. I'm looking back. That's what angel does for you. Put your mind in the future, so you're looking back. So everything you're doing right now, I already see. I already see it. That means I'm safe. It's safe in the future because I already see the path to get there, and I see my path is clear. I'm trying to bring you along. They were called time travelers. That's what prophecy gives you. Now, all prophecy, some prophecy doesn't. It's like long-term prophecy, but the prophecy that we're getting, the angel, that's right now. Some of Muhammad's prophecy was right then. Talking about his battles and everything right there, but a lot of it was future. Talking about future events in a very general way. But this, 100%, bam, what's happening right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. So powerful. The more you study, the deeper it gets. And so you get you put you in the future. So now you're looking back at us, at what's going on right here, because you already escaped. You just bring your body along, but you already escaped. See? So I'm gonna cover a couple of other things, bro. So this kind of complicated subject. It was nothing in 50,000 years ago. You knew this like the back of your hand. I have trouble trying to explain because this language is so terrible. And plus you have no reference points because nothing here in this society prepares you where you're going. So let me try this best I can here. I said that we don't create energy and we don't destroy it, but we give form to it. And the form is based on your nature, your wisdom. So you get money. If you're a fool, right, you ain't gonna do anything. If you're smart, then you might build a house. In other words, right, the form has to come out of you. It's like an apple tree, right? It produces apples. So it has to come out of you because you can't, like I keep telling you, I'm not giving you anything. I'm bringing it out. I'm cultivating you. Right? So, we were in energy deprivation because we lost control of the ability to give form to energy. That's why he brought Adam along. So he gave form. That means he had control of us. He gave form to it. This is the form he gave. Not what we see right now, right? But the form he gave was, we saw what was in him. The Holocaust. He was told to discipline himself, don't go. But he's, they knew what he was going to do. They told him anyway, warned him, because he can't say he wasn't warned. So a little over 100 years ago, like the 1860s, the process started being reversed. We started getting energy, positive energy, and just started returning to us because the universe is contracting now. Every 50 years, approximately every 50 years, you get a wave. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, brothers and sisters. Say for instance, you was locked in a cage. And that cage was tested, right? That if you had less than 100 pounds of pressure per square inch, that much force, that much muscle, you couldn't break out. Because, those things are tested, right? Elephant couldn't, they say, okay, you had to have more strength to break it, so they make it sure that you don't have enough strength that's how they keep you in there. Because, it can be broken, there's metal. But they make sure they build it to test to the strength that they figure you ain't going to ever be able to overcome it. But if you look at that this is very too simplistic, but I'm going to go with it anyway. So they tested to 10 pounds per square inch of force. So you wake up one morning, right, and you got 15 pounds per square inch, right, and bam, then, right, you just bend the bars and go walk right out. They can't hold you. Right, because your pressure became greater than your strength became greater than the abilities they had to restrain you. That's on the physical stage, right? But look how about the mental stage. Now all those guards and everything, the war and everything, they got their think. They have thoughts. Right? And so when they pick those people, they make sure they pick people that's smarter than you. Because they don't want guards that's dumber than you, because you're going to take over to prison. And you want to take over the war and everybody else. They got to make sure they're smarter than anybody in the prison. And the real smart people, they don't even sit in those prisons. They're smart people, they sit in special prisons. Believe me. Because they don't want you outsmarting the guards. So you go in there and say you're studying. They don't know you're studying, right? You're studying. So now you figure out the layout of the prison and everything else. Right? So now your brain, your knowledge is greater than their knowledge. So they can't contain you anymore. Because you change the nature of things. That's a simplistic way of saying it. What I'm getting at, brothers and sisters, is that's on a mental level. Now, I've talked about this before. I'm going to try to go a little more detail here. For 6,000 years, Cavey was horse and buggy person. Horse and buggy and knives. Swords, right? For 6,000 years. That's what they was. None of this technology, no electricity, no cars, no gas, no cell phones, no guns, none of that stuff. None of it. For 6,000 years, for 5,500 years. Then suddenly they bring us over here, things change. They change right away. But when did basically the changes would start coming? When it went to the Industrial Revolution. Now the point is, remember we just got a just energy burst. So now we got more energy. Because remember, we lost control because we have enough energy. We lost control of our civilization and everything else. And so we lost control of ourselves. So they was like leeches all over us. Wasn't like they were leeches. So now we got a burst of energy, so they can't hold us down as much as they did before. So maybe another way of looking at it is, say somebody's hold you down in a hole, right? And they got 100 pounds per square inch of pressure on you. And that's all what you can't, you can handle. They got, they can push you down that far. It was like 100 pounds of pressure, right? 100 pounds per square inch. See? So at maybe 100 feet under, right? They can push 100 feet under with that much pressure. 100 pounds per square inch, they can keep you down 100 feet under the ground. But what if you gain some pressure? Say you gain 100 pounds of pressure. That means now you can push up. You ain't out, you can push up. Then 50 years later, you get another. They can't hold you down as much. Because then you put adding more pressure. The point is that you're stronger. You apply more pressure against them. So eventually, you don't come out the hole if you keep on doing that. So I'm trying to explain this to you in a very simple way, but it's very complex. Because when we came, we see that first energy burst, right? That increased our thoughts. Because we're mostly thoughtful people anyway. I keep telling people, we're the creators, right? Spatially thinkers, by definition. Not by definition, but that's our nature. Well, before I say it, let me say it a different way. I mentioned this before. I said, if you have enough energy to go a mile an hour, then you walk a mile an hour every day, right? Now say you got enough energy to go 2 miles an hour. See? Now you're running. You have enough energy to go 4 miles an hour. Well, you can't run 4 miles an hour on a regular basis. You can't do it physically. But if you're in a pressure field, that's fast you'll be moving. Because as energy increases, like we turn on heat, we turn on the fire in the stove, right? The molecules start moving fast with temperatures. They move faster. Nothing's going to stop that. They're going to move faster because temperatures up. They're going to cause everything to move faster. And Daniel says knowledge will be increased. They give you a little hint there. It'll move faster. So now the temperature is raised enough. You got to move 4 miles an hour, but you can't run 4 miles an hour. But you got to go 4 miles an hour. Because that's where your mind works. Your mind's going to create the means for you to go 4 miles an hour. Bicycle. Because it's not going to be instant. It's like you're going to take this 1 second, you're going 2 miles, then 4. No. The energy start increasing. Like we get to 50, this energy every 50 years, right? But we don't get all at once. The Earth absorbs it, and that's giving it to us. Every day we get a little more and more energy for 50 years until it's all used up. That's no story together. And be careful population anyway. So now you start thinking. Somebody start thinking, because remember you understand the Quran tells you that the devils, they're all one nation. They said it's one single nation. It says mankind is one single nation because we're all a body. You look at each other like we're independent, we're not. One body. So the body starts, right? Because you're going 2 miles an hour, but then you go 2 miles, 0.4 an hour, right? Each day. So it means your mind is moving, and so then you come with a bicycle. So So by the time you get to 4, boom, you got a bicycle. Everybody's driving bicycles. Right? Then you go to 8. Whoa. Right? Horse and buggies. You see what I'm saying? Your mind's going to, because you got to move. You got to do that because that's what the energy says. That's how fast you got to be moving. Because it's a pressure field. So everybody move faster. So your mind will come to the means for that to happen. If ands or buts about it, your mind's will come to the means to do it. So if you understand that, we got the first birth of energy, see, our minds create the means, right, where we will be under control of them as much as it was before. So we came to the means, the beginning industrial revolution, because they didn't need us on the farm anymore. So that level of oppression wasn't necessary for them, because remember, they was living off of us. So now they can still live, but they didn't have to use that level of oppression anymore. Give it one, because our minds came up with this another way. Because 5,000 years, they never thought of it. But soon they got us. And that happened all of a sudden thing. And now it keeps changing. It keeps changing every 50 years to get more advanced. Because we're doing it. Only problem is they have control of it. You understand? We're doing this. All the technology, everything, we're doing this coming out of our minds, but they have control of it. That's why we got to get away from them. And that's when we reach why they don't want us to get away from them, because they will not have the ability to do it. And all of a sudden the thing will collapse. And they will sit around and say all other European nations, because no invention or anything came out of all other European nations. Why is just here? I mean, they're stupid. Why is just here? Television, cell phones, cars, planes, you name it, here. Because you're doing it. Because you're making the means, right? See? Because you change the reality to be in your favor. See, so we're doing this on our way out of here. That's it. We need our great wealth. This is our journey out of here. Because we're doing it. We're creating the path. Remember I said, you have to create your hereafter. We're creating the path to our hereafter. This is just like going through grade school, first grade, second. So say just like second grade right here. This technology out of our minds. See, we're going to a PhD. We're going way beyond this. Because our minds be going so fast, right, that we're going to be moving. See, that's why they can't go in. Because them, right, they can't go in so fast because at some speed, they get crushed. If you got steel balls and porcelain balls and they're all banging against each other in the pressure, the porcelain balls are going to crack and break. They're not going to be able to withstand all that collision in the pressure field. But steel balls, they might keep going like might be a scratch. And we're steel balls and they're porcelain. Hope you understand that, brother. So I don't know if I'm making that clear enough. We're doing this. You don't understand what we're doing, how much power we have. That's what someone's trying to tell you. And plus, he's igniting all these atomic bombs that's blowing them away, right? But it's enriching you. Because whether you know it or not, right, this is good for you. Because pressure is good for you. Pressure is beautiful for you. Pressure makes you into diamonds, even if you don't like it right now. Just like putting the gold in the furnace. You don't like being in that furnace, but it loves the outcome. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. We're doing this. This technology, everything, did not come from them. It's coming from us. But they're controlling it. All this wealth you see, they think they have, that's ours. All the wealth, remember it says, what did it say? It says, we leave, we get the gold and silver, and that will plunder. It says, the gold and silver leaving, plundered Egypt. That's how rich you are. Keep us the fire coming because they're living off you. They're not going. So they're living off of your wealth and your power. They're controlling, they're deceiving you about. Having you suffer self-imposed energy deprivation. The simple answer is get the hell out of here. We're doing this. But they're controlling it. And they know if you leave, like it says, The gold and silver left, and that plundered Egypt. Egypt was plundered. It was broke. Why? If they're so great, they're so wise, so intelligent, then why are they there? They should be better off after we leave, wouldn't they? They say, "C'est la vie, hasta la vista, hasta luego," whatever. No. See, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to give you all. It's so much going on that you get lost in the weeds. That's why you got to read that stuff carefully and connect the dots. All this coming out of your mind. America got rich off of you. They're still getting rich off of you. Just like a leech. A leech only lives off of you. He has to find a rich host. It's got a lot of blood. If the host dies, it dies. If the host leaves, it dies. But they don't want you to know that. So one other thing I'm going to talk about, Bill. So I had a lot of things, but like I said, I've been all day and I really need to get right. I said I want to do something today. It took me all day just to get my. I still have my system totally set up. Right? I'm still trying to figure out how to get my sound. I hope sound coming through. So that's why I'm broadcasting on live on 2 channels. See if I can improve my sound. Okay. Oh. Anyway. I said earlier, right, about those cats, those dogs. Now, America is going down. It's going down fast. Then the free fall. They said it'd be like a woman have a labor, right? The planes come quick, no quicker. It's going so fast now, and it's boggling their minds because right now you hear many of them talk about World War III. I mean, they're not talking about it in small. They're talking about major circles. Nuclear war. See, because they lost control. See, that's why you see women walk around naked. They can't control their sensuality. That's what happened. That's why they walk around with no clothes and stuff. I've been telling our sisters, you know what you're doing? Or maybe you're a demon. They lost control of their sexuality because the hearts on their mind can't control it. So their sensuality is, they go on naked. They don't know. They can't determine their sex is. Everything's about sex, because the mind is gone. It's in the heart zone now. So everything is sensuality. Everything is sensuality. That's all you hear: sensuality. Like that's the most important thing in the world. LGBT, whatever they call it, right? What they call those drag queens in schools and teaching your children sex. Why is that so important? Because to them it's very important because that's level they're on right now because they're being crushed. That's why you see in the scripture they keep telling you every time a nation did that it was destroyed. Because that's the beginning of their destruction. I tell you right now, they're being crushed out of existence. So it's just a few steps later they're gone. That's what I tell you is a sign to see that they're being crushed. Because that's one of the major signs right there. They lost control of their sexuality. They're not in the mind zone anymore. And we're talking about nuclear war and all that kind of stuff. That's insane. It's not going to happen. America will be nuclear, but it's not going to be a nuclear war. So the point I'm trying to make here, brothers and sisters, is that the woman held those cats. This time unprecedented trouble. Means a trouble like never been before, ever. Unprecedented means. Now the scriptures tell you clearly, and you can always see it right now, they don't have a problem with their agriculture. They don't talk in ways you don't understand because your mind's on NBA, NFL. They tell you, well, they're getting fertilizer from Russia. Why do you need fertilizer if you got topsoil? I mean, you mean back in 200 years ago when they had bondages and before there was even a real Russia, I mean, they was getting fertilizer from Russia then? No. They use up all that topsoil. They don't want to come and say it like that. Because they want you to think it, because they still holding out, hoping that you be stupid enough to sell your birthright for some six states that's barren, wouldn't produce nothing. They give you a story about what happens if you sell your birthright, what happened to Esau and Jacob, they did don't store anything for nothing. They're going to try to get you to sell your birthright. And what happened? God honors contracts. I keep telling you that. So Jacob might have been unhanded about it, but Esau signed the contract, so God honored it. If we sign in reparations, God will honor it. And you be sitting around here, in here, on your land that will produce anything. God help us. God said, fuck it. Dumbass, eat dirt. That's what he told Esau, didn't he? He cursed Esau. You sold your inheritance for a bowl of soup? He cursed him. Even Jacob was unhanded about it, but he blessed Jacob because at least Jacob cared about his inheritance. He cared about what God had. He cared about what God was to offer. Esau despised it. Oh man, I don't care about that. Man, just give me a bowl of soup. And so you saying, I don't care about the land that God promised me. I don't care about the promised land. I want these 6 days on here with the devil. And God will let you, if you sign that damn contract, you fools go there, He let you have it, and then He'll shit on you. Because you won't hear from Him anymore. That Esau didn't hear from God anymore. Look at the scriptures, you see Him with God anymore. God will talk to Jacob, never talk to Esau anymore, ever. Never saw him anymore. Never talked to him anymore. Yet he was the one that's supposed to inherit it. That's what the story is about. You got the promised land, you got the land there, and everything is scripture right there. It's totally, Muhammad came here to explain it to you. Like Muhammad spent 40 years dressing it, especially the covenants here, and you said, oh man, I want 6 days, I want this stupid ass Farrakhan. I want 6 weapons, I want to stay here. Even though these devils ever kept a promise for the Indians, and remember, they got reparations too, right? They got the reservations. You want to be on those reservations? They made promise to everybody. Which one does he ever keep? But yeah, I want to reparate. I want some states. When you got a whole promise, God promised you the promised land. No, honey, He said, also the best part of the planet. He said, I want this 6 state over here. Listen to the damn Farrakhan. He's deceiving you so he gets you to sell. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to sell out your inheritance. So God will spit on you. Because that's what He did to Israel, that's what He did to you. Okay, I came here, I got all this for you, I prepared everything for you, we prepared a dinner, everything for you, and you spit on it? F you? Anyway, brothers and sisters, I'm going to get to my point here. See, it's difficult for me to get to this point because the problem is that there's so many things going on and I don't want to confuse people. Because they got this plan, I said I'm not going to deal with if that happens anymore because it's confusing. But this is not an if. This country, I'm going to get right to it. This country will be in starvation pretty soon. They tell you certain kind of ways because if you go check out the breadbasket, all the breadbasket places in the United breadbasket means, right, those are places where they produce food and everything. Like in California and South Florida and stuff, places being flooded, being burned out and whatever. Then somebody's going around burning out all the warehouses. I've been trying to come at different ways, right? Anyway, it says it's going to break. America's going to be starving. Literally starving for a few more days. Won't be any food. No food of any kind. Okay. Now, some of you think that if that happens, I don't know what you think really, because it happens, first of all, it happened and nobody did anything to you, that means you're going to starve to death. If it just happens, there's no food for, say, 3 months, you're just going to starve to death. Right? That's the best case, right? Just horrible death. Starve to death, watch your children starve to death and everything else, right? Is that those cats, right? Okay, hey, Big Mom, man, she's in the bed, she can't get up, man. We just sit here and starve. We sit here and starve, no food. Or maybe they start eating each other. Maybe they start doing that. That could happen, right? I mean, just think this logically. I mean, are they going to sit, the cats going to sit there and starve? Maybe start eating each other. But maybe they say, wait a minute, why we eat each other? Let's eat her. They've already give you warnings. The Japanese Americans, they were American citizens born here in America. See what happened to them during World War II. And as Muhammad said, Farrakhan ain't telling you about that. He said that war breaks out in Europe, Armageddon. He said they go over by thousands and come back by tens. He said when they come back, see, he gave a big hint there. I used to think about that. He said when they come back, right? You're gonna look like the people that was that been kicking their ass over there. They're gonna attack you. Yes, he said that. Yes, he said that. I'm saying, wait a minute, hold it. In Europe? Every time about Europe? We're talking about the Middle East. He dropped a lot of hints. Because he couldn't be talking about Europe, that one. Bottom line, you put, like I say less. I should say stop right there. If a family comes to America, which is coming, it's on the way. Like I tell you, you won't realize it all of a sudden, because if the supply chain breaks down, then what you're eating is what's in the warehouse. And the warehouse has 6 months worth of food in it, then you're doing good 6 months. You won't know until 6 months run out, and then there's nobody's replenishing it. All of a sudden, the store's empty overnight. The warehouse is empty. Why is it empty? How did you tell anybody? Oh, we thought we was going to get a refill, or we didn't want to pack it, whatever. Yeah, they told you what we was going to do. So here you go. So you ask yourself, what would happen in that situation? If you be truthful about it, you'd be wanting to get your ass out of here. If you're truthful about it, and you're a reasonable person. Because if there's no food, even for a month, somebody's going to be on the menu. Somebody's going to be on the menu. And what's it, majority rules? You're the minority. Okay? You're the minority. Plus, you're only 3/5 human. It's in the Constitution. So that means you're not human. And anything that's not human can be eaten. You don't understand, bro, what's about to happen to you. Some of you going to get out of here. But some of you ain't going to get it. You have to go through it. You have no idea. It's unprecedented. I'm trying to tell you. I see it as clear as day. You don't want to be here, brothers and sisters. So it tells you, said, flee. Flee. Don't go back and get your baby and just flee. That's how bad it's going to be. Flee for what? Why are they telling you to flee? I mean, if everybody's the same, then why you need to flee? That means everybody going to flee. If everybody's fleeing, nobody needs to flee, right? You're fleeing from somebody. That means something different between you and them. The only reason I got to flee because you wait till the last minute. And then where you going to flee to in America? Where you going to flee to? Because they all over the place. That's why Master Muhammad has to take you out of here. You have to take you completely out of here. Farrakhan said, no, we're going to stay here and fight whatever. No, you have to take you out of here. Now, the demons going to stay here and fight because we're not going to take them with us. Leave them behind. But they're fighting for a couple of reasons. Take over America, one. Another one is to keep from being eaten. Because when they catch you, you're going to be eaten. What do you think they would do if they catch you and they haven't eaten 2 or 3 days? What do you think they're going to do? Ask yourself your question. Look at that scenario. Just ask yourself, if there's a famine in America, real live famine where there's no food, the Bible says there'll be no food. I can show you here, the quote. It says there'll be no food, no birds, no fish, nothing. So what you going to do then? Remember that thing in Peru about 20 years ago? They crash landed. It was like a mile away from the village. They didn't realize it. And the dead people that died in the crash, they start eating them cold. They had nothing to warm the place up. They start stripping their skin, eating it cold, raw. I told you, brothers and sisters, as I get closer and closer to Him, it'll be more clear to you because I can't. Some things I can't tell you until I'm getting closer and closer and closer, telling you as much as I can. But this is a whole lot right here. That's the plan. Adam and Eve, don't eat of the tree of life. Eat. That's a big hint right there. It says, the day you do it, you will die. That's their plan, to eat you. That's why it's in the Constitution. It's easy for them to pass the law. Just go to the Supreme Court, says, the Constitution, we found the Constitution. Constitution says 3/5 human. That means it's not human. Remember, if you're any percent less than human, you're not human. Because gorillas and apes, right, they have a lot of the same DNA you have. So that means that makes them 1/4 human or 3/5 human, whatever. But don't make them human because they don't have, you have to be human, you're supposed to have 100% of the DNA that a human has. So they tell us we're only 3/5. Because the ape, I think, is like 1/2 or something like that there. And they can eat apes. They might not do it, but they can eat them. Some people do. You are going to be on the menu. That was one of the contingency plans, brothers and sisters. They know they're under judgment. I'm not going into details about that. They know they're under judgment. And if food fails, that's another reason why they won't let you go. Because you're going to be on the menu. And it's okay. Because they're going to pass a law. So that means it's going to make it acceptable to everybody. And nobody's going to argue anyway. Because now all of a sudden their stomachs is growling. And these people cannot live, go an hour without eating. You tell them to go a day, 2 days? Only thing they're going to hear is food, where's food? Okay, there's your food. They're going to have no objection to that whatsoever. None. Zero. None. And it's going to be okay because everybody's doing it. It's the law. It's in the Constitution. See? They was just our pets anyway. See, we trying to be, they're not human because that's what evolution. This whole thing's been prepared, brothers and sisters. These devils, but they ain't stupid. They've been psychologically preparing you for every sense you've been here. When this evolution stuff come about? We know evolution says you're not human. But you don't understand that because your head's up, NBA, so evolution says you're not human. Because to be human, if you understand evolution, you need to go study, brothers and sisters. Animal, the definition, the basic definition of evolution is, if you're not evolving, you're animal. Because a dog is always going to be a dog. They don't tell you dogs evolving anything else. They don't tell apes evolving anything else. They say, we evolved from the apes. And the apes are still apes because they didn't evolve. So during the process, all the things that we used to be, they're still there because they didn't have the ability to evolve. So they're never going to evolve. They're never going to go any better, different than what they are right now. Right? And so, so they say, yeah, well, they was white, black folks was first. Yeah, because, well, then, in that case, girls was first then, right? So you say, hey, man, look, good before us, man. But they eat them, no. They put them in cages, don't they? Experiment on them. They said they first, right? Our great-grandfather, so why you putting your great-grandfather and great-grandmother in a cage and laughing at them, playing with them? If you say that's what they are, why are you doing that? So they say, gorillas are animal because they not evolving. They're not going to evolve into human. That's already done. The people that had the ability to evolve already evolved. The animals that had the ability to evolved to blacks. And then blacks evolved to whites. And the people that are still black, they don't evolve anymore. They're still in the animal plane. They're still in the animal lineup. They've already been preparing their people, their body, psychologically for this. Dr. Yaqub told them what was going to happen. It's right in the sealed Bible. You don't have to break the seals of the Bible to see that. It's right there, plain language. How the end is going to be. So they've been preparing you. That's one of the reasons why they brought you over here. They're preparing for this day. So no, you like an insurance policy. If that happens like that, because they're not going to starve. Happens like that, you're the food. Because like Muhammad said, you be a hostage. So you're not only food, not only food, but you're hostage. Because Muhammad said you be a hostage. Because in other words, they will hold you as hostage because they know that God cannot attack them if you're still here. That's why it says you have to come out. The Quran says about you have to come out. Pharaoh said you got to stay here. Why is he telling you to stay here? Because he's part of the process to keep you hostage here. Because he know he's a demon. God's going to destroy his ass too, and that's why they will keep you. Because they figure as long as you here, then God can't come after them. But he showed a sense of power of your ass, didn't he? Burned your ass, blew your ass up. You can't stop God. You can't stop consequence. But that's what happened. That's why they're so desperate to keep you here. For all kinds of reasons. That's one. I told you the other reason. Your creativity, but the other thing is food. You're going to be the food. I already said the prayer. Why do you put 3/5 of human in the Constitution? You think there's thought of one like that? No, it's right there. So they can always come back and say that's the law. Supreme Court had to go along. It says the law right there. See, and evolution. See, yeah, you're still animal because you didn't evolve. They've been setting you up in every kind of way thing. I'm telling you some of the ways. They knew this day was coming. And so I identify all the players out here, Farrakhan, all these clowns. Listen to what they're saying. If you understand the Abrahamic covenant, you shouldn't be deceived by any of this. Because you know the only chance to get the hell out of here. Staying here is suicide, destruction. Why Farrakhan wants you to stay? Why is he so interested trying to get you to stay here? Why is he so bent on keeping you here? Why? Ask yourself that question. And it follows the devil, which biologically it makes him a devil too. But you try to hide him behind that one. Hope you understand, brothers. I think I'm going to leave it there. I said a lot of things here, brothers and sisters. I hope somebody find out before they put a picture, stick a fork in you. See if you're done. Because some of you are going to be on that menu. Some of you are going to be on it. It says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge. It didn't say some of my people might be lost. No, some are lost. They can corral as many as you can. The demons will be fighting. Because they was on the devil's side. The devil, he's going to say, because remember, 3/5, that means I can apply them too. So you got to apply it across the board, otherwise it doesn't work. See? Because it was some blacks or whatever. Then you got to say, well, is this a good black or black? Well, if you're black, you're on the menu. So I got to do it that way. And demons, they found that they're not going to be a diner. They're on the menu. That's when they're going to be fighting. It's going to be a war. All of them, all 17 million of them, women, children, all of them, they all be fighting for lives. And those that got caught didn't flee fast enough. They be corralled up just like cow and everything else. Well, I think I had that one for dinner, brothers and sisters. Ooh. You talking about the so-called Holocaust? You think that was something? They wouldn't eat people over there. It's time of unprecedented trouble, brothers and sisters. What did I tell you? And you think unprecedented trouble, and these people, all the damage they've done to you, even in good times, now you say they totally bankrupt, nothing, no food, anything, and they're going to look out for you? You're going to be on the menu. You're going to be on the menu. They're preparing it now. So you can't sit down and tell your brothers and sisters, okay, what do you think, call it whatever you want to call it. But if you take a realistic reading of the scripture, you can't come to any conclusion. And their history and everything else, they went out to steal, kill, and destroy. Isn't that what the Europeans did? Stole this land, killed all its inhabitants, marched over and destroyed us. But no, so you keep listening to that stuff, because see, the demons got you. You're plagued by demons, and you keep, everything's all right. Because they plan to eat you too. But mass can be eating them too. That's why they're going to be fighting for 5 months. And they'll get caught. Ain't no surrender. Surrender means you're on the menu for the night. Ain't gonna be none of that. Be cold stone war. And demons gonna be, it's gonna be a terrible war, 5 months war with them. But we're not going to be here. Time of Jacob's trouble, he delivered out of it. He's going to be here. Watching the children eating. You relative to spell. Because you didn't listen. Hope you understand, brothers. I'm going to leave it there. The dear Lord. Oh, let me say one more thing. See, the consequence that we said we can format energy, the energy form. So the nature of the consequence, we control the nature of the consequence. Energy, consequence is energy. Consequence is what they did to us. So if we don't do anything, it's still going to face consequences. Maybe all kind, maybe a great plague or something. Consequences will be. The point is what form it's going to take. It's going to be 5 plus 7 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. 10 plus 2. What form will it take? We don't give it the form. So they gave our energy deprivation a form. We don't give it the form. We're not going to leave it to them. We're going to give it the form. But if you stay under their control, they're going to give your end the form. Roast Negro butt. It might sound stupid, brothers and sisters. Well, I'm telling you, you're going to see in a few more days. We're going to give it form. See, that's why vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Vengeance means you giving form to the consequence of what someone did to you. That's what vengeance is. It means you giving form to the consequence. You ain't just letting it happen. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. We're going to give it form. We're going to just let it happen to them. And one of the forms is total salvation. Cut off. Because the food that they've been eating for 5 years ain't theirs. They stole it from the people that had this country. This land is not theirs. All of it they had eaten, and now it's cut off. That's the consequence, because it wasn't yours to begin with. It's like somebody eat the dinner, you pull the dinner back out their mouth. Because it wasn't theirs to begin with. So now it's taken from them. Everything that you took will be taken from you. Everything will be reversed, every consequence. So you took this land, it will be taken from you. You took all this food, the food will be taken off you. Everything will be broken in every kind of way you think of. You took black folks, and they will be taken away from you now. Everything is taken away, you can be left total, bereft, plundered. Everything taken away because none of it belongs to you. You never seen a punishment like this. That's why the Quran says, I will punish that nation like I never punished any nation ever. Because we give it form. If we punish them, we give them form of we give form to your consequence of what you did. Justice, because it's a result of what you did, the Holocaust. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.